Insanity. Chapter 1. The moment alastor opened her eyes to see a blood-red sky, various buildings advertising prostitution and drugs, and the pentagram like symbols flickering everywhere, it was only natural that she came to one conclusion. She was lucid dreaming. Obviously, going to hell was only through death, and she knew that she couldn't have died at the young age of 28. Yeah, there's no way. Standing up, Alastor immediately fell down on her face rather painfully. Okay, that hurt a lot. What is going? She glanced down at her pose. Wait, pose. The fuck? Whipping her head around to see the rest of her. She growled. She gawked at her back pose and floppy tail, her entire body covered with fur. She was a cat, she realized, and in that moment every single one of her memories came rushing back to her. She was on an airplane when it happened, her death. She remembered the turbulence, the lightning, the rain, and the plummeting of the plane. She had asked whoever was above to allow her to live, but she didn't think it would be as a cat. Oh, the gods hate me. Alastor scrunched down and placed her paws over her eyes, trembling. I'm in hell as a cat, but I thought I was a good person. At least not a bad enough person to go to hell. Why even as a cat? That makes no freaking sense. After trying to calm herself down for several minutes, Alastor finally got the nerve to pick herself up and try to properly walk around. It was easier to get the hang of walking and running on four legs that she thought, stopping on the edge of the barren and rocky hill that she had landed on just outside of what looked to be pentagram-shaped city. More like several cities on the points of the pentagram that all surrounded one major city, which contained a large clock tower visible even from where she stood. She tilted her head, her ears twitching. That's strange. I feel as if this hell looks familiar. Her eyes then widened. Holy shit, am I in Bibsy Pop's hell? The hell where Helluva Boss and Has Been Hotel take place? She chuckled to herself. Yeah, right. I am definitely lucid dreaming. There's no way I could have died. Letting out a sigh, Alastor began trudging her way down the hill, almost slipping a few times due to the loose rocks scattered about. If she were being honest, she really had no idea where she was going. In fact, considering she believed she was lucid dreaming, she kind of just wanted to see where her dream would take her. Oh, maybe I'll meet characters from the show. Charlie, Angel Dust, Blitzu, Stolas, Alastor. Alastor squealed a bit internally at the thought not being able to help fangirling over the radio demon, despite the fact that he was a psychopathic killer. Sure, she knew that she couldn't like him or rom- romanticize her character, considering he held no sympathy nor remorse for others, but everything about him was captivating. She couldn't help it. Oh well, though, he'd probably kill me the second he saw me. Continuing down the jagged terrain until she entered the closest city within her reach, she flinched from just walking down the streets. It was chaos. Bombs went off every few seconds, parts of buildings and roads flying outwards whilst fire blazed on. In the sky, she could see a huge metallic ship that seemed to be shooting lasers at both buildings and demons that were running about. Blood painted the walls, red rose chaotic laughter rang in the air. Alastor could only look at the sight. Well, it sure is hell, alright. Hey, look, a sickly voice shouted. Alastor turning to spot a group of rough-looking demons starting down at her with murderous eyes. It's a fucking cat. Let's use it as a target practice. Alastor let out a silent scream. One of the demons stretched out his hands to grab her, but with a hiss and a swipe of her claws, she was able to get him to back away. As he cursed from the blood now leaking from his wound, his words turned in even fuller when glancing up and noticing that she was scampering away. Catch that fucking animal, he growled. Alastor glanced behind her at that, letting out a startled screech when seeing the demons running after her. The dodging demons in her path was turning down several alle- alleyways and the corners of large buildings. She couldn't help but wonder why her lucid dream was allowing those demons to chase after her. After all, she was the one in charge of that dream, and if anything, she sure as hell didn't want to spend it running away. Fortunately, as she glanced back to see if the demons were still chasing her, she wasn't looking where she was going, meaning she crashed into something. More so, someone. A voice hummed, Alastor stumbling backwards while shaking her head before glancing up at the staticky sound, spotting a demon standing but a mere few feet away from her. A large and jagged smile plastered along his face, a feline. Alastor could only blink at him. He was dressed quite dapperly with a red pinstripe coat, a bright red dress shirt, black dress pants with matching red cuffs, and back dress shoes tipped that same red collar. He also carried a thin cane attached with a vintage-style microphone, which he used to lean against the monocle over his right eye flashing in the light. As he walked closer, she could see his features better, noting that he was quite charming, with a red to back hair cut into an angled bob, while two tufts stuck up to resemble a deer's ears. Then there were his eyes. His sclera was deep red whilst his pupils were a brighter red, the hues practically glowing in the shadow of the day. Alastor blinked again. It's Alastor. You're a strange little creature, Alastor continued, now able to tell that his voice was filtered so that it sounded like it was coming from a radio. His accent tinged with a transatlantic effect. You seem to be in such a hurry only a few seconds ago. After seeing me, though, it looks as if you've forgotten everything you were doing. Alastor jolted. He's right. Those demons aren't still around, right? Jumping so she could turn around her back now facing Alastor. She flicked her head back and forth, her eyes scanning up and down the streets to make sure those demons weren't in the vicinity. She then let out an almost choked meow when feeling someone picked her up by the staff of her neck, her body turning so that she was now face to face with Alastor, his red eyes boring into her own. She swallowed thickly. Oh shit, I can feel his touch. Does that mean I am not lucid dreaming? God damn it, I'm so screwed. Why is he so hot? Oh shit, indeed. Can you understand what I'm saying? Lester questioned cheerfully as his hold in on her tight, his smile somehow seeming to grow even wider when he did so. Who would have thought that while taking my daily stroll, I would meet such a charming little kitty? Tell me just who were you running around away from that you didn't even notice me? Alastor still couldn't only blink at him. Bro, I'm a cat. I can't speak. Before anything more could be done, They were interrupted when the group of demons who had been hunting appeared, one of them shouting, There's that damn cat! Capture it! Another yelled, Is it them? Lester hummed down at his eyes narrowing to the point where it only made his grin that much more eerie. How amusing. With much a flick of his finger, he summoned back appendages, tentacle like in appearance from glowing green portals to rip apart the demons that had been hunting down. Meow! His eyes glowing red as he did so. Meow could only gawk at the sight, her small cat self trembling in his hold. Oh, I am so screwed.